mercy that endures. I overcame by the power in your blood.
Good everyone. My name is Femi Okunuga. Today I'll be talking about mental health. And I'm glad because this is my area. I'll just talk about it in a simple way. So I'll be talking about anxiety today. And what is anxiety? I'll define, or as defined, anxiety is a state of uneasiness, nervousness, as though something bad would happen. Is a constant state of feeling, overwhelmed with worries. And that is what anxiety is. So there are different symptoms of anxieties. For some people, they could just feel their hearts beat, like they feel as though how do I say it? I just want to say it in a simple way. They just feel as though the heart is racing up and down. Some people, they're just constantly worrying. They can't even sleep. They are always afraid that something bad will happen to them. And that's anxiety. Sometimes, people could, come down with anxiety and feel that, their heart is racing. Their heart is constantly beating. It may not just be anxiety alone. And that's why, I would always advise that, you speak to your doctors or talk to professionals so that, if there is anything underlying, it can be dealt with. Thank you. So moving forward, I'll give different instances or examples of anxiety so that people can recognize it, when they have it. For example, when you think of like that exam you've written and you think, this exam is very important to me. This is a destiny exam. If I pass this exam, I know things would run smoothly. I would get that desired promotion. I would, get to that level or get what I want out of this examination. So you understand how important that examination is. So you can now imagine, like you are moving close towards the release of the exam results. That state, like, God, I pray it will be fine. That worry is like, you can't sleep. That is anxiety. There are different forms of anxiety. So many. I wouldn't mention a lot today, but I may just talk about them subsequently. For example, we could talk about social, anxiety. Is a state whereby, when people go out in the crowd, they just feel very uneasy. They feel like fainting. They feel as though something bad would happen to them. Just that something bad would happen to them. And then sometimes things happens to them is like they are fainting because they are anxious. They are very, very anxious. Like, for example, you can imagine someone, a student, who has recited or like has decided to make a presentation, has prepared very well for the presentation, and on the day of the presentation, and he or she faces the crowd, and is like, I can't even remember anything regarding this presentation. That's what the person says. And people are like, but you prepared for it. Say something. And this person may just burst into tears. So that person is dealing with anxiety. Sometimes it may not just be anxiety. The person may just be dealing with different things and then just feels he or she cannot just, make that presentation. And sometimes too, you can't tell people not to worry, especially when things are not going on well for them. For example, somebody has got school fees to pay the next day, and without paying that school fees, the person will not be able to write exam. You can't tell the person not to get worried. Sometimes some of those worries are inevitable, but however, you don't want it to go on for too long. And that's why we need to open up. We need to talk to people. We need to, shout for help when it is necessary. So one of the ways to defeat anxiety is by being courageous. When you say courageous, sometimes in life or many times in life we face battles. And we can't run away from such battles. So you and I need to be courageous, especially looking at this world in the state of pandemic, like COVID here and there. And people are thinking, what would happen to them? Sometimes, like I said, it's inevitable, but we just have to be courageous. And if this, anxiety is making you feel, or if this anxiety is not making you to be able to perform your functions well, like for example, maybe at your place of work, you keep feeling anxious, you need to talk to your boss about it, even though he or she may understand or he may not understand. But you can talk to professionals about it. Tell him to give you time so that you could sort out things. Because of this excessive worrying, just because you want your mental health to be intact in the future, you just don't want to just keep things on that until they build up. That's not what you want for your life. Although generally the first line is, we talk about psychotherapy, it could be any form of therapy, where you talk to people and, you get feedbacks from them. They teach you how to manage these anxieties. And for some people, they've tried all that, but it has not just worked. And then they can, be prescribed medication by their professionals, by their doctors. Thank you.